Hey everybody, welcome for another session. Please like and subscribe, and let's play a game. We'll play a 10-10 this time on chess.com. See if we can get my rating up a bit. Going to try something a little bit different today. Going to try and play more classical type of stuff. E4, E5. And we're going to try and just do really simple development, castle quickly, that sort of stuff. Hope everybody's doing okay. Alright, so let's see, he's attacking my bishop. Not too phased. I'm also going to attempt to move a lot quicker. Alright, so I can't go to any of these central squares. Can't go there, and I don't want to go back, so I'll have to go to the edge. Right then. See, where's my opponent from? Bosnia. He's playing a bit strange because he's now blocking in his bishop. Okay, let's just get castled. Aiming for simple development, get my pieces out, maybe bishop here. Okay, so my opponent's already threatening my knight. Okay, so the only move I've got is c6. So the goal is to get to 1900 as quickly as possible. I particularly like his last move because now I can potentially get rid of my knight that's on the edge of the board here by playing here, forking the rook and the bishop. Let's see, a5, knight there, rook moves, knight takes, a5. Can just move back. There, takes, and then I'm hitting there. Okay. Instead of trying funny things, I think let's go here first. Development. Development is key above everything else. Now we can go for that. Also had bishop there, and knight takes pawn. It's probably much better. So now, once I've developed, the goal is also to trade off as much as humanly possible. Looking at knight takes, and bishop a5. And then I'm also looking at bishop takes, and then knight d4. So idea of going there, but you can move the bishop back here. So let's go with this one. That was a terrible move. Surely I can just go here. All about drawback chess, guys. All about drawback chess. Kind of feel like my game has switched gears lately. Not sure why or how it happened, but it definitely feels like it. Okay, so basically I just want to get the rooks here. I'll discuss more of what my ideas are when we go through the game afterwards. Playing with a very specific plan in mind, which is also why I'm probably moving a lot faster. As you guys can see, so far it's been paying off quite nicely, already up 2 points. Interesting. As you guys can see, I'm a lot more focused in my games now. Things are pretty easy when you're doing what I'm currently doing. I think the big thing is don't overcomplicate. Like I said, we'll discuss this more when we go through the game. I'm surprised he hasn't resigned yet. Come on, dude, you're down 6 points. Check there. Check. Alright, so I got a clever little checkmate here. So hope I don't outsmart myself. And thanks for the game, buddy. Alright, so that was quite an interesting game. So today we're going to focus on what I was doing and also how to analyze the game. Now on chess.com we've got a nice little feature known as game report. Let me see if I can show you guys what this looks like. Let's try and make my head a bit smaller. Whoops, and make this a bit bigger. You guys to see the analysis here. Alright, so I'm going to take my head away so that you guys can see nicely. Let's make this a bit bigger. There we go. It looks pretty good. Alright, so let's have a look. Right, so this tells you nicely what your accuracy is, 96.9, not too bad against 1800. Alright, so your accuracy is based on how many best moves you play. I played 21 best moves, it's not bad at all. And then afterwards it shows you what type of things you should focus on to try and improve your game, like a battery or trapping pieces, mate in one, pass pawns, knights and bishops. Now what I did in this game is I'm basically focusing on the very elementary stuff. Okay, so my main goal is to play classical chess where I put a pawn in the center of the board or try and put both my pawns in the center of the board. Then develop knights, bishops, and then castle as quickly as possible. And then the goal is to trade pieces. As you guys will see in the game, I just aim for trading pieces and you just more or less win the game quickly. I've been playing a couple of rapid games this morning and my rating is going up quite nicely, so I think I want to keep doing this and see how far I can get. Alright, so let's have a look. After e5, I don't really know these lines, but like I said, I'm trying to play classical chess. So d4, pawn takes c3. Now he's aiming for the Danish gambit, which is I take there and then he plays bishop b4, and then after I take he plays bishop takes, and then he's got this nice diagonals for his bishops. The best move as far as I know is d5, as you guys can see there probably. However, if you're not sure, a simple way to just decline the gambit is to play d3. which is what I did. So bishop takes d3, and now I just aim to develop as quickly as possible and get castled. So knight f3, bishop c5, castle. Now I'd love to play my knight to f6, but then he's got this e5 move, which might be a problem. So I went for knight g to e7. Okay, b4, he's threatening my bishop, so I've got to move it away. Plays b5, got to move my knight away. Plays c4, now I just got to make sure that that doesn't trap my bishop, which it doesn't. So I just carry on developing by castling. Now it shows that white has an advantage, but I'm not buying it. Okay, bishop d2, alright, not threatening anything. So I carry on developing, aiming to get the bishop out. Simple chess. A lot of people say chess is not simple. It can be, if you follow the most basic principles. So queen e1, my opponent's threatening my knight. I've got to do something about that. Okay, so c6. Simply defending my knight by creating a battery with the queen and the bishop. a4, bishop g4, just developing. I had this move, but instead I'd rather just get my pieces out, just get developed. Okay, also if he does nothing, I'd like to take his knight, giving him double pawns and opening up his king. Simple, basic chess. Bishop e2. Now I can go for knight b3, rook a3, knight takes, knight takes, knight g6. I want to try and get my knight to a better square, this e5 square maybe. g3, that was a really bad move, because now I just win the exchange with bishop h3. Can't believe a 1800 makes a mistake like that. Rook d3, takes, queen takes. I think it's also just purely putting your opponent under pressure, just playing simple chess, not getting low on time, playing good, solid, strong moves. Now, when you're up material, what's the most basic elementary rule here? Well, trade off pieces. Okay, when you down material, don't trade off pieces. So my opponent should be trading off, I should be trying to trade off. And how do you do that? You play your pieces to the center of the board. Okay, queen e7, connecting the rooks so that they're looking at each other, and it also helps defend that square bit. Queen d1, knight e5, knight takes, pawn takes. Okay, exchanges. My opponent's allowing me to exchange. Knight f3, rook d8, aiming for exchanges. Rook a1, thank you, I'll exchange. And my opponent's hitting this pawn, so I've got to do something about it, so I defend. Okay. Before I played this move, I did think a little bit, because it does create white squared weaknesses. So you've got to be a little bit careful of that, but in this position it's completely fine, because he's blocked his own bishop with his pawns. a5, hitting my bishop, so bishop c5, knight h4. The idea of going here, I can simply carry on trying to get my queen active, hitting his bishop. The bishop moves, queen d4, aiming for exchanges. Okay, I want to exchange, I'm up material. My opponent doesn't exchange, but he had to, because I was also threatening this pawn on f2. So queen takes f2, check. King h1, thanks for the bishop. Knight f5, rook d8, aiming for exchanges. Okay, and here I missed a checkmate in one, so that's why it was telling me I had to work on my checkmate in one. Alright, so that's something I've got to work on, something plain and simple. Alright, so I missed a checkmate in one. Pawn takes, and now I do it, but in a lot more complicated way. I first give away my rook, queen takes there, queen f3 and queen f3 mate. Alright, so in the end there I played actually very badly. Mr. Mate in one, and then I had checkmate earlier. Can't believe that. Quite funny. Now let's look at it from the lesson that we covered last week of drawback chess. Alright, so e4, e5, d4. Alright, so what's the drawback to that move? Well, if I capture, if he wants to recapture the pawn immediately, he'll have to bring out his queen too soon, and I'll be able to develop with attack. Okay, so c3. What's the drawback of that move? Well, the drawback is, if I do move my pawn, he can't move his knight to its most natural square, c3. So d3. Bishop takes. Okay, what's the drawback to that move? Well, this pawn is blocking the bishop. Okay, knight c6, knight f3. What's the drawback to that move? Nothing really. It just develops the knight, gets ready to castle. Bishop c5. Castle, no drawbacks to that move. Knight g to e7 and b4. What's the drawback to that move? Well, he's not developing. Bishop b6, b5. So drawback to that move. The drawback is the knight can go to a5, and this pawn is going to be a bit weak, and he's putting his pawns on squares that are the same color as the bishop. That's not good. It's taking away squares for that bishop, you can see here. So it's a drawback to that move. This square becomes weaker, that square becomes weaker, that square becomes weaker. Castle, bishop d7, bishop d2, sorry, d6, queen e1. Okay, threatening the knight, c6, a4. What's the drawback to that move? The drawback is the square on b3. Bishop g4, bishop e2, and now we go in with the knight, because that was the drawback of a4. Rook a3, takes, knight g6. What's the drawback to this move? Well, the bishop can just go there and pick up the rook. So what I did, bishop h3, rook d3, bishop takes, queen e7, queen d1. What's the drawback to that move? This square on f2 becomes weaker. Right? It also helps me to trade off pieces later on this file. Knight e5, knight takes, pawn takes. What's the drawback to him taking there? Well, he's exchanging when he's down. Right? Don't exchange when you're down. Rook d8, queen a1. What's the drawback to that move? Well, I can exchange. Rook takes, bishop takes, f6, a5, bishop there, knight h4. What's the drawback to that move? Well, his bishop's unprotected. Queen d7, bishop e2. What's the drawback to that move? The drawback is I can force exchanges with queen d4. My opponent doesn't exchange, so I can just take on f2. King h1, queen takes bishop, knight f5, huge blunder. What's the drawback to that move? Checkmate in one move. Why didn't I see this checkmate in one move? Because I didn't ask what is the drawback to the move. Okay, I was aiming for development and that sort of stuff. Okay, so it's important to always ask what is the drawback to my opponent's move. And you see the simple checkmate in one. Okay, rook d8, pawn takes. What's the drawback to that move? It still doesn't stop. Checkmate in one. Okay, rook d1, queen takes, sacrificing my rook to get my checkmate but not realizing I had it before, and queen takes f3, checkmate. Weird little game. I hope you guys see some interesting things here. Okay, I think play classical chess, keep it simple, develop, castle, don't waste time, and also look and see what is a drawback to every move. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked, please like and subscribe, and the donation link is in the description. Till next time guys, cheers, bye.